is part 74 of Ocarina of Time 3D, and this part we're going through the last so-called dungeon in the game inside Ganon's castle, and really finishing up the game.
Yes,
what we do here, we got I think 4 parts of Ganon's castle, and then the ending.
The ending
so
credits.
we're here. We're finally here. The last part of the game, just a dungeon that's good, or if you consider it a dungeon, like what you'll see is we'll be going through a bunch of different areas, like dungeons that we had earlier in the game, which. I like that in some ways. I just like it in other ways. Now, Red, you can talk.
I was going to say, I'm just going to sit here and let you talk for the next 9 minutes, actually. Well, I like the idea of hitting the previous areas, but a lot of them don't really...
They're not representative of the dungeon that they represent.
So, like, I mean, we start the Shadow Temple first of all, because we do actually get one more item. We get the Golden Gauntlets, which are going to allow us to get the last Great Fairy of the game, which is kind of cool. But that's why we chose to do this dungeon, or this section.
Yeah, because we'll do this. We'll actually go... Did you talk about the upgrade?
Just the Golden Gauntlets, yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about the actually... Okay, we'll get the Golden Gauntlets. You can tell how much I was actually listening to
I'm the same way, don't worry.
We're going to get the Golden Gauntlets, and then that will allow us to get an upgrade outside the castle. And so, like you said, that's the reason we're doing this area first. And then I think after we do this area, we'll pretty much just go clockwise.
I think so too.
Around the dungeon, but like you kind of said, basically not paying attention to anything you said. Did you talk anything about how this did not really feel like the Shadow Temple?
Well, I just kind of mentioned how in general some of these areas don't.
Okay,
but at least this one has the right color, like that purple.
It does have the right color. Well, we do see the right color, but just none of the walls. Or the floors or anything look like the dungeons, and that's one thing I really hate about a game's castle.
And there's very few of even the same concepts. Like, it's hard to describe without just saying, hey, you got one invisible floor here, so it's kind of like the Shadow Temple.
Yeah, but they use concepts in other sections that came from other dungeons.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this a little more. Like in the forest area, you have wind.
Yeah,
Which it's just, and we'll obviously talk about that more when we get there. But it just doesn't feel like they really hit the mark with the. Food.
Well, see, I actually like that, and we'll wait till we get there to talk about it. But I can't think of an example where we use other items. But when we do it, we'll try to. Actually, I know in the light section we use the lens of truth to do something. So they kind of do some cross. Whatever you want.
And don't even get me started on the water section.
Yeah, well, hey, we actually don't have a water section, but you know what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and spoil this whole dungeon for you if you've never played this. So.
Well, I mean, like we said, all these areas are based on the previous dungeons.
They are.
So, now, one thing that I thought was interesting, after going and playing Wind Waker, where you actually have to battle, and again, kind of a spoiler for Wind Waker, you have to redo all the boss fights, but with your full upgrades and everything. I thought that was a fun idea. I don't necessarily say I want to fight 6 bosses or whatever here in this lead-up, but I wonder if that would have added
if they would have had some bosses that acted as mini bosses in this dungeon. Well, one thing is, the theme is very fitting, but for me, kind of get away from the enemies. I'll get back to it.
You're fine.
But the theme is very fitting, but there's just not enough to it. It's not loud enough. It should have been more scary, I guess, or intimidating. Now, going back to the bosses, it'd been cool to have some bosses from dungeons act as mini bosses in Ganon's castle.
Well, if you think about Ganon's Tower from Link to the Past, which I know we recently just re-recorded, behind the scenes a little bit.
That place is a pain, dude.
But they bring back Moldorm and the Armos Knights and the desert.
Lamolas.
Thank you.
Lamolas. That's a tough one to remember, actually, because it's just so random, and you kind of think of that one as being Moldorm, and it's not Moldorm.
So I liked how they brought those back, and of course with all your upgraded sword and your upgraded armor and everything, they're a little bit easier. So having some of the previous bosses in here would have been they would have felt like mini bosses.
There's really not that many enemies at all in the dungeon, which I also think is another problem. You go through these areas, there's really more puzzles than is enemies, and I think you're kind of talking about, I think I like a final dungeon where it takes all the sections of the game. I think I like it to be more enemy driven, more combat driven, just fight your way to the top.
And I guess we get that a little bit in the actual Ganon's Tower part.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's too short. It's short.
Very short. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see that later on here in a little while.
Yeah.
So.
And the upgrade we get from the Great Fairy, I can't remember if you actually said what it was, but we get.
I didn't.
We get a defensive.
Thanks
upgrade.
for listening.
Yeah. It's the third time in this part we've been in it. We get a defensive upgrade, which I'm pretty sure doubles the amount of damage we can take.
Yes, it does.
Or cuts in half.
Cuts in half, doubles. You said the same thing.
Yeah.
It just
it makes
different math numbers, different equations, different fractions.
It just makes it so easy, though. I mean, we've already got full hearts.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it's almost too overpowered.
I would agree with you. It's really not necessary because, like you said, we have 20 hearts. So
plus
now
fairies.
these enemies that we face later on in Ganon's Castle, yes, they are the final bosses. So we will take more damage, but still with 20 hearts. And just like it's something you really don't need, but it is kind of nice because it really like damage like less than half.
Or it cuts it in half. Yeah,
cuts it in half. Okay, now I'm getting confused on your doubles and like fractions and stuff, but it is kind of nice though at the same time.
It is, but man, when you combine that with the fact that we've got the big Goron sword now, we are a bad mamma jamma.
I don't like that you have to come outside to get it.
Me
I wish
too, actually.
I guess maybe I wish like that actually is a place in Ganon's Castle you can get fairies. Like you can buy like a little wall at the bottom.
Yeah.
And get fairies. Now I wish they would have put something maybe like the fairies fountain there.
That'd have been cool.
And
you think Ganondorf would have let a great fairy live in the castle though?
Well, no, but they're a fairy. They got magical powers. So
we didn't really talk about this when we first came into this area. Not to cut you off. But I love like that purple carpet coming down the stairway.
Oh, I agree with you.
The Triforce symbols on the wall. I love that entryway, and we kind of didn't mention that when we first came in.
Does purple fit Ganon? That's the question. Like you think dark and stuff and sadistic, and like I don't really associate purple with that.
No.
And like purple's more royalty, but then Ganon probably thinks he's royalty.
Well,
like,
he's evil King
for
Ganon.
For some reason, that purple didn't look bad, and I think it does represent Ganon well. I guess black. Really should be his color, but agree with you. The purple just
pops though.
It stands out for some reason. That whole like I said that lead down that steps. I think it's just a great like first room to the game, even though we're not in there very long.
It does. The purple though does kind of remind you like when we defeated Phantom Ganon, and he opened up that portal underneath him, and it was that purple color. Like the portal that he used to suck in Phantom Ganon after you defeated him. So
I was thinking Wind Waker.
Oh, no,
I was like, wait, okay, I don't remember that in Wind Waker.
Remember the Forest Temple?
Yeah, the Forest Temple. I got you. I know that dungeon pretty well.
And I think they just used that kind of as a substitute for black. Because I remember, like, the Shadow Temple had a lot of that same purple. It's like, you can't just have black. You need some color.
That is true. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, black just... I mean, yeah, you can use it in a game, but, other colors look better, I guess, so...
Yeah. And that purple does look kind of royal.
It had the Triforce symbols, too, like on the Vimo stats, using, like, the... and how about those 4 flames? Those 4 flames when you walk in, they're just like, it's not a big addition, but just kind of like a lot of times you'll see like a first room really set up how the rest of the dungeon and the feel of the dungeon is going to be. And even though it seems like a very simple concept, I think this dungeon did really well at that.
It does, even though
dropped in the mic.
Even though kind of once you get like
before the bomb juice.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
Like, once you actually get into this area, it kind of loses some of that. But man, when you're making the final approach though, here in the next part, or 2 parts away. I
think it's 2 parts away.
Yeah, then it really comes back. But man, these bomb chews are tough.
They are tough, man. I practiced this numerous times. like the last castle, I wanted to have a good recording and just. Of course. I mean, I had the blinking down. That's the one thing I had down, but. When you're like turning Link, it's so easy to turn him just a smidge to where it makes that bomb chew go like totally the other direction you want it to go.
Plus, on that particular instance, like you're trying to get it up through that tiny hole, but you've also got like the corner.
Well, you don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. As we know, I mean, your wife is pregnant.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Come on, you walked into that one.
Yeah, I did.
But then you also have like where the wall and the ceiling merge. You can make it go in a crazy angle. I don't even know where your first bomb chew went before it blew up.
I think it just kind of went up on the ceiling, just kind of went around the ceiling. But one thing I do like is that we got the sun faces back right here. Oh, it's actually the last room, but we got those sun faces back, and that's one thing that actually did occur, or that we saw in the Spirit Temple, which is kind of nice seeing it again.
And I love the giant spider web that we burned at the top to let the sun in. Just the giant spider web just reminded me of the one that we had to jump through all the way back and inside the Great Deku Tree. But now that we've got to the end of
this part,
thank you.
Part 73 of Ocarina of Time 3D. Good try, Red.